අපි ණය වෙලා ඉන්නේ. අපි ණයට ගලනවා. රුගන්ඩාව සෝමාලියාව අප්‍රිකාවේ වගේ වෙලා තියෙන දැන් අපිට.
Sri Lanka and India have signed an agreement to form a joint venture named Trincomalee Power Company Limited to build a solar power plant in Sampur. The agreement was signed between India's state-run NTPC Limited and the Ceylon Electricity Board, who would be shareholders in the joint venture. The Indian High Commission said the project is an important step in India's process of investing in Sri Lanka, as agreed during Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa's visit to India last year. India had offered Sri Lanka a $100 million line of credit for the development of solar power projects. But the Minister of Power, Pavitra Vanyarachi, has said that approval will be sought for the Sampur Solar Power Plant project only next week.
The governments of India and Sri Lanka have jointly formed a company to acquire the land to build the Sampur power plant. This company will also acquire land around to build power plants that can generate 900 megawatts of electricity. We have prepared a tender document for that. Based on the President's instructions, I will table a cabinet paper this week. This is a small legal obstacle for renewable energy. A tender process is needed. How can we do that when the solar power project is to be carried out on our land? After resolving the legal impediment, we will submit an amendment to the bill to the Parliament. We will try to generate at least about 1,000 megawatts of electricity through those projects.
Sri Lanka is preparing to obtain a $500 million credit line from India's Exim Bank to purchase fuel. The Reserve Bank of India has said 75% of fuel imported under the $500 million credit line should be purchased from India. Sri Lanka has already obtained a $500 million credit line to import essential goods and has also received a deferment of a $400 million debt repayment. Sri Lanka is also holding talks with India for a $1 billion loan to purchase medicines and essential goods. Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa is to visit India next week to follow up on the process of obtaining the loan. It has been reported that India has put forward tough conditions to offer Sri Lanka this loan. This includes a roadmap on Sri Lanka's plan to overcome the economic crisis, maritime security agreements, particularly around the Trincomalee harbour, a solar power plant in Sampur and Delft Islands, and the reopening of the Palali airport for commercial operations. Valuable lands in Sampur have been allocated for an energy project involving India. Most tanks in the Trincomalee oil tank farm are now run under an Indian joint venture. A terminal of the Colombo port has been given to India's Adani Group, and the development of the Palali airport has been given to India. China is also exerting economic pressure on Sri Lanka. The majority stake of the south terminal of the Colombo port belongs to China. A special bill was passed in Parliament on the management of the port city, which involves heavy Chinese investment. China holds a majority stake in the Hambantota port as well. The US is a major player in the world's geopolitics, but while disregarding public opposition, an agreement was signed discreetly with US-based New Fortress Energy to give them a 40% stake of the Yugodanavi power plant along with a contract to supply LNG. Who is gaining control of Sri Lanka's strategic assets as the country grapples with an economic crisis? Comments of this man, who was in a queue for gas cylinders in Anuradhapura, echoed the sentiments of people who have been battered by several problems.
අවුරුදු 100කට වළංගු හරි අවුරුදු 50කට හරි වළංගු ගිවිසුමක් අත්සන් කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා දන්නේ නැද්ද? දැන් රට ණය වෙලානේ තියෙන්නේ. රට ණය වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. අපි ණය වෙලා ඉන්නේ. අපි ණයට ගලනවා. රුගන්ඩාව සෝමාලියාව අප්‍රිකාවේ වගේ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ දැන් අපිට. හෙට අනිද්දා යන්නේමක් නැති නේ මේ අහිංසක මිනිස්සුන්ට. හැබැයි දැන් මොකද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? දැන් මුදල් ඇමති කියනවා අනේ ඉතින් මොකද කරන්නේ? කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැලු. යකෝ මොකටද ඉන්නේ? ඉතින් යන්න කියන්නකෝ ගෙදර. ඈ? එයාට නම් යන්න ඇමරිකාවට හරි පුළුවන්. අපි කොහෙද යකෝ යන්නේ? මේ රට හතර වටේ මුහුද. අපි කොහෙද යන්නේ? මේ අහිංසක මිනිස්සු ඉන්නේ. අහිංසක මිනිස්සු ඉන්නේ. අද මේ වගේ පොලින් කීයක් ලංකාවේ තියෙනවද? හරිද? මම කියන්නේ මේ රටේ ආර්ථිකය කළමනාකරණය කරගන්න බැරි නෑ. හරිද? මේ රටේ ආර්ථිකය කළමනාකරණය කරගන්න බැරි නෑ. මේ රටේ මොකද්ද කළමනාකරණය කරගන්න පුළුවන් උනේ? අවුරුදු 74ක් අපි දුක් විඳිනවා. මගේ තාත්තා කිව්වේ 77 පොලිම කියලා. හැබැයි දැන් අපිට පොලිම ඉන්න උනා. ඉන්දියාව මේ වෙනකොට අපි ඉන්දියාවට යටත් වෙලා ඉවරයි. පුළුවන් නෑ කියන්න. ඉන්දියාවට අපි යටත් වෙලා ඉවරයි. ඇමරිකාවට අපි යටත් වෙලා ඉවරයි. චීනයට අපි යටත් වෙලා ඉවරයි. කියන්න තියෙන්නේ ඔච්චරයි.